to a brief program with Bobby Roode. I think the two of them facing off against each other would be amazing. And the crowd would just eat that alive because both of them would be getting their entrances sung by the crowd. It would just be awesome. I want to see this so bad. It would be a matchup that I would literally say this is match of the year. I don't care what anybody says. It's going to definitely be hard to top because they're definitely really good in the ring, and I think that Bobby Roode versus Nakamura would be fabulous. It would just be fantastic. There's no way that you could probably beat that matchup. So that's the only thing I expect from Nakamura. But maybe he's going to get called up to the main roster. I wouldn't have him win the Royal Rumble per se, but I would definitely have him in a pretty good program with some people suggest maybe have him fight Brock Lesnar. Maybe he goes on to face John Cena. I'll have to work that in because what I want to do is I want to make a early prediction as to what I think the WrestleMania card's going to be. I'll have that posted up on New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day, so be sure to tune in for that. But you know what? That's for later. That's about a month away. We got to talk about Survivor Series because holy crap, this was, all honesty, this was the pay-per-view they definitely needed because these matches were just, they were really good. The first matchup that kicked off Survivor Series was the women's elimination tag match, and this matchup was good, but here's the thing that really just sucks, is that as soon as Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss were eliminated, the final three were Bayley, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch, the crowd just went dead. It just didn't work. I don't know what happened, but I was still into the matchup. I'm thinking, hey, you got 3 out of the 4 horsewomen. This is going to be good. It's going to be awesome. But the crowd just really affected it so much. They just basically went mild. Even after Bayley won by hitting the Bayley to belly on Becky Lynch, they were just like, oh, match is over. Well, okay. Just like a little applause, that kind of a deal. Hey, Team Raw won. All right, then. Bayley was attacked by Charlotte after the matchup was over, definitely setting up Bayley versus Charlotte in the near future. Possibly a title matchup at their Roadblock, the end of the line event in about 3-4 weeks. And it's probably 4 weeks away. But all in all, I actually really liked what they were doing. All the women looked like they were really good. Alicia Fox definitely shone as a competitor. Carmella looked great. Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, all the women that even got eliminated were good. They had a moment where Nikki actually got eliminated, well, from the matchup, because before the match even started, she was basically attacked backstage. Nobody knew what happened. And then Natty took her spot. Yeah, a little good that did, because Team SmackDown lost in the end anyway, so okay. We go on to the next matchup, which was The Miz one-on-one with Sami Zayn. This was a pretty good match, in all honesty. I mean, I don't particularly like the finish, which I'll get in a minute, but here's one thing that just really bothers me, is that everybody's talking about how great The Miz is, and oh, The Miz is doing the best work he's done in a long time, and blah, blah, blah. You have to remember, it's at the expense of Daniel Bryan, and that really showed in this matchup, because he did all the corner missile drop kicks, he did the whole Daniel Bryan, kicks while the guy's on his knees, he's just kicking him in the chest, and the yes deal's going on, and he's doing the mocking yes taunt. It's all at the expense of Daniel Bryan, and that's where it all kind of started, because the reason why I hate this so much, and the reason why I'm still not on the Miz's bandwagon, I'll respect the fact that he's a great wrestler and the fact that he is good in the ring, but the thing is that this is the only way he's getting over. It's at the expense of somebody else, especially somebody like Daniel Bryan, who is basically being told you can't wrestle anymore. It's one of those things where it's just like a major salt in the wound. It's like, why would you do this? It's horrible that this is happening, but I guess it's all business. If Daniel Bryan's okay with it, I mean, more power to him, but I just don't like it. The end of the matchup happened with Sami Zayn locking in a figure four on The Miz. The bell rung, but Miz didn't tap out, so everybody to camera turned, and there's Maurice with a hammer ringing the bell, and then she tosses it to the timekeeper and said, he did it, and the referee said, I didn't ring the bell, blah, blah, blah. And we see The Miz take advantage of that distraction, using a roll-up for the 1-2-3. Miz retains the Intercontinental title. I'm hoping that Sami Zayn gets drafted to SmackDown, because this was a really good matchup. I would love to see The Miz versus Sami Zayn a little bit more. Maybe I definitely wanted to see Sami Zayn versus Dolph Ziggler. I was hoping that was going to be match of the night caliber right there. And unfortunately, at the last minute, they decided, let's just give the title to The Miz. And, we'll have him face Sami Zayn, which made it blatantly obvious. If you would have had Dolph Ziggler versus Sami Zayn, more people would have been like, well, what's going to happen? Nobody really knows what's going to happen. And the other thing that really annoyed me about this matchup was JBL compared The Miz, or put him almost in the same league as Chris Jericho. I'm like, no, just shut up, JBL. There's no way that The Miz is even close to touching Chris Jericho's, resume. He cannot lace up Chris Jericho's boots. I'm sorry, but even when The Miz is a 6-time Intercontinental Champion, there's no way that he can even touch Jericho, even on his best day. On Jericho's worst day, it's still better than Miz's best day. A little bit salty, but it's a fact. So we go on to the 10-team Survivor Series matchup, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Some pretty good action in this one. I was very surprised on how well they did it. I already knew that it was going to be basically a giant mass of humanity because it's 5 teams against 5 teams. I mean, they might as well just put the War Games in there. They barely showed off Breezango, who got eliminated in 5 seconds. I made the joke. I said, wow, they lasted about as long as Mike Knox did. And then in the blink of an eye, boom, the New Day got eliminated. I'm like, whoa, I was not expecting that at all. A major thing that happened during this matchup was the club, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They looked great. They dominated. They beat 2 teams. They beat the Hype Bros, and then they beat American Alpha, which was very disappointing because I thought American Alpha was probably going to go the distance. But the Usos went the distance, so that was very interesting to see. So Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, yeah, they looked really great. The final 2 teams were actually Sheamus and Cesaro taking on the Usos. A very good back-and-forth matchup. Cesaro, again, looking like a major hit player. Deserves to be on SmackDown. Being amazing. And we see just a beautiful sharpshooter locked in by Cesaro, who countered the leg lock submission maneuver that Jey Uso was locking in. It was just amazing. It basically looked like he just had to flip him out, do one flip and then flip, and it almost looked like a Chinese what do you call them? It looked like one of those Chinese wire. I think it's what they're called again. The wires with the strings. I can't remember which one they were. They're like those Chinese puzzles or something like that. I forgot what they're called. But it just was a beautiful counter, and the Uso had no choice but to tap out. So Cesaro and Sheamus win for Team Raw, and they are being rewarded with a tag team title match against the New Day tonight on Raw, actually, which will be a very interesting Raw. Am I going to watch it? Probably not. I mean, I understand that there's a lot of fallout going in from Survivor Series, but just because Raw had an impressive showing last night doesn't mean that I'm going to tune into the show. and see a bunch of crap like they've been doing for so many years, for so many months, jeez. But I digress. We go from that to Kalisto versus Brian Kendrick for the Cruiserweight Championship. And if Kalisto wins, not only would he win the title, but the Cruiserweight division would move over to SmackDown. Good match. The ending was complete, absolute horse crap. Baron Corbin got involved, attacked Brian Kendrick, which caused a disqualification, and then hit the end of days on Kalisto. Baron Corbin walks away, and Daniel Bryan basically confronts him backstage, saying, what are you doing? Not only did you cost Kalisto the match, you cost SmackDown the Cruiserweight Championship. It's like, I don't care. I don't like dealing with little pipsqueaks. And he basically makes a remark about Daniel Bryan being a pipsqueak, and Daniel Bryan says, you know what, I will deal with you on Tuesday on SmackDown. Just get out of here. So it'll be very interesting to see what Daniel Bryan has in mind for Baron Corbin this Tuesday. From there, we go on to the, an hour-long matchup here, but it was well worth the hour. The Team Raw versus Team SmackDown all-male matchup. Jeez Louise, this was just amazing. Everybody in there looked just phenomenal. Braun Strowman was a huge player in this whole ordeal where he just dominated everybody, just slamming everybody out, throwing everybody around, just killing. And even when they had the whole Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman face-to-face deal, he looked strong against Bray Wyatt. And that was just one of those moments where I'm like, oh, wow. That is going to be an amazing superstar. He could, in fact, be a future world champion. I'm guaranteeing that he's going to win at least one title before he retires. If it's not, the world title, it's going to at least be the U.S. title, or I'm not even going to put him in a tag team title contention because he could be a team all on his own. We see Styles actually cost Dean Ambrose and got him eliminated. We see Braun Strowman get eliminated by an unsuspected James Ellsworth, who is apparently under the ring, holding him down. And, we see Braun Strowman get counted out. And then he just throws James Ellsworth like a lawn dart. And by the way, James Ellsworth announced that he signed a WWE contract. And what does he do on his first night as an official WWE superstar? He gets thrown into a freaking bed of tables. It's like, oh, hey, congratulations for signing on to us. We're going to reenact basically what happened to Eric Bischoff and Kane back in 2003. You're going to get slammed through a bunch of tables, and you're going to look like you just died. Because that is basically what happened there. Braun Strowman just kills him. Barely even... It's basically like all he has to do is like act like he's going to push him, like the force push. And James Ellsworth was just going to go flying like crazy. It wasn't even going to matter. Jeez Louise. We see a Shield reunion moment. Oh my God, that was just beautiful. That moment where we see Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins pick up AJ Styles, put him on Roman Reigns, and a triple powerbomb through the Spanish announce table just was a beautiful moment. I loved every single minute of it. There were rumors about them doing like a whole Shield Shield reunion during Survivor Series, and they were right. I was not expecting it to happen in that way. It was just great. I mean, Dean got the last laugh on AJ Styles. We see Styles get eliminated. It was just, geez Louise, it was just awesome. This was a very scary situation for me because there was a point where Roman Reigns was set up in the bottom corner and Shane McMahon was going to go for a coast-to-coast. He goes flying through the air, and then Roman Reigns hits a huge spear on Shane McMahon. And the way Shane just crashed, it honestly looked like he might have got a concussion. My friend Kevin was actually talking to me about that, and it looked like he literally just got knocked out. You saw just the faraway look in his eye. He just looked like he was in a bad way. It was just, oh man, that was just a moment where